Welcome. This is David Bull's Human Meme. Today's topic, shaming you with the disabled exception. You know, it's interesting how able-bodied people, average-bodied people really, use the disabled to prove the unworthiness of other average-bodied people in the guise of the least favored among us, rising to take the crown of accomplishment and winning. I am a member of an online exercise consortium that uses photos and images, video to help teach and inspire others. And in the group session, the group area, the chat location of this online consortium, not a day leaves us that someone in the group doesn't post some set of oddly curious videos. The no-legged man lifting a truck tire. A person with no muscle control pushing a tonnage of weight up a hill. A person with no arms uses their legs to carry water jugs from the ocean to fill a child's swimming pool on land. Now you get my point, and maybe you've seen some of these videos. And in the context of posting those videos to the exercise group, it isn't enough that you, as a member of the group, average-bodied, and lazy and full of excuses, you cannot compete with the disabled, the exceptional disabled, because you are average-bodied and boring. And so you have to be shamed, it seems, and humiliated on purpose by others like you who post these super disabled people doing wild things in these videos, proving that they have gumption, they can get up, they can go. And the whole point of these videos is not to celebrate the person in the video, but to condemn you for not being as good as they are in overcoming their disability. And that's the whole purpose of this, embarrassing you, trying to pretend, I guess, to motivate you to exercise, because by God, if a legless person can run a marathon, well, you can do 10 squats and 5 push-ups. And my human meme friend, please do not misunderstand me. The disabled people in the videos are terrific. But they are being used by non-disabled people to embarrass other non-disabled people. And it's just that sort of hubris, this misplaced inhumanity to each other, that damns everyone involved in the dynamic triad of trying to get better and to exercise. You feel humiliated. You need to find success. And the disabled person in the video is being exploited, and not as a great feat of gumption, but rather as an image used to shame someone else. And the person who is posting these videos is a voyeur, hoping to dismantle empathy and passion in the same moment. Oh, and hey, if you happen to say anything in protest or wondering about these inspirational videos being manipulative and palliative, then you are tarred as a terrible person for not celebrating the overcoming of disability, and you are also a more terrible person for not being inspired. You're goofy and graceless. Oh, well. And that topic leads us right into this. The problem of the one-off. Now, this one-off problem is along the same lines as the miracle legless wonders, but this time from the intellectual end of the scale. There was a recent story in the New York Times about a deaf-blind student who had just graduated from law school. Now, the whole story was written like, wow, look at this, a deaf and blind lawyer. Leaving you to answer this question. And what have you overcome in your life? What have you done in your life? And yes, there are exceptional, wonderful people in the world, and we can enjoy them without having to be like them. We can even be inspired by them. And while a deaf-blind lawyer is a great one-off, you really can't get behind that story more than appreciating it as an anomaly for being unique. And I also would like to know, a follow-up in 10, 20 years, what the deaf-blind lawyer will have accomplished in the world beyond being merely a deaf-blind prop and a lawyer. Because people must be more than their biological definition. And we, are required to move beyond the simple boundaries that life has set before us. And the institutional investment was very high in the deaf-blind lawyer. But will the results be quantifiable and of ongoing quality of depth and motion in comparison with the normal-bodied lawyer? There is danger in the grit. There is a threat in overcoming an accomplishment that has been predetermined for success by the invested institution, who is now formally vested in the promotion of the one-off miracle student. Success does not happen in a vacuum, especially not if you are deaf and blind, and bound by duty and your school to finish with a law degree. And now, let's think about the want, the need to never underestimate the prodigy. The average-bodied prodigy is just as dodgy and perfunctory as the disabled miracle worker. But do not be fooled by a false prodigy. I recently read an article about a middle school girl teaching her local police department American Sign Language. And all I could think about were the multiplicity of lawsuits that would happen when this non-credentialed student failed to properly teach the police the difference between stay and get down on the ground. They're similar. The signs are similar. Intentions are different. The effect is very different. And if the student didn't teach it right or the police didn't understand the student, you can see how we're quickly getting into the danger area between life and death. The precision in the imprecision is a bright line. And who makes these decisions of training that are more adorable than based in the reality of living and dying on the streets? And then there's the story of the young elementary school child co-teaching American Sign Language to college graduate students. And that is why there is disarray in the definition of the expert and expertise. Today, everyone's an expert until they're not. And someone dies in the consequence of hubris over ego until they do. And it all gets buried by the promotional television reporter colluding with the helicopter mommy who is trying to get her child undeserved attention in the local media just to make the mommy feel better. So, no, my human meme friend, when I speak about the prodigy, I mean the child prodigy who is often identified but rarely acted upon by the adults. Because there is a fear of not measuring up to the younger self set beside you for comparison and collusion. The young prodigy must be taken up and celebrated and made whole before the prodigy, ages out into the ordinary, before they are set upon and besieged by real life that is set to take them down in real time. And we know the gifts of the prodigy are fleeting and momentary, and they must be exposed and developed and celebrated in order to move one into the realm of established genius. But you have to be talented to recognize talent, and that requires selflessness and the Sisyphean task of putting others before yourself. And that is really hard to do in a modern world where fewer and fewer chances are available for exploitation into greatness. And so, my human meme friend, we need to celebrate the young, the genius talent, and not be fooled by the singular outlier, no matter how great the accomplishment. And we need not feel sorrow or joy in the exposure of the disabled, who may be tougher and smarter and better than us in every direction, born before the wind. We disturb the past at our own peril, with all the footfalls of immediate sorrow. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.